Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Oh yeah, it's time. It's February. It's Friends February. Here we go. I know that everyone likes to bully every millennial for saying Friends is one of their favorite shows. And I know it's dated and sometimes a little cringe, but I can't let it go. I love Friends. So Lauren agreed so kindly to dedicate a whole month to Friends with me because she knew it would make me happy. Hi, Lauren.
I live to make you happy. Hey, Rachel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I was just thinking, I actually listened to our Twilight episode last night, which we billed as a Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
So it's like Friends is Valentine's Day, I guess.
Oh my God, is Friends just like, is February just like my month? I get everything I want in February. I got Twilight, I'm getting Friends. Look at me. Every cringe thing you can mock me for. Amazing. I'm very upset, and I'll tell you why after we introduce Tricia. Hi, Tricia. She's our special guest.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited you're here.
I am so excited to talk about Friends.
Yeah. Trisha's really a sought-after podcast guest, so
Very popular.
I'm extremely happy to have snapped her up.
I'm going to have so many people coming at me after this because I turned down so many before you.
You got to tell them, talk about Friends then. That's how you get me.
That's how you get me. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I was upset
They'll
because
come back
now
and be
Netflix
like, well,
is
write a
officially
Friends
like,
fan fiction, Trisha.
but Netflix has taken everything good off. So like Friends is gone, and now they removed Twilight too. This
you
month
say
they
it
removed
like it's
Twilight.
Netflix's choice.
It is, and it's their fault, and I will blame them.
I blame them with you.
Thank you. It's horrible of them.
You have HBO Max.
I know. I watched Friends all last year on that. I tried to. So I did a whole rewatch to get to the reunion.
You know what? I should have watched the reunion. I didn't.
It's good.
I know. I didn't.
It's really good. I hope Jennifer Aniston is happy in every moment, in every waking moment of her life.
I did read about Matthew Perry and his problems because I didn't know about them, and people were like talking after the reunion. And I did read a whole timeline of Jennifer Aniston, and like maybe she's getting back together with Brad.
David Schwimmer?
No, not David Schwimmer.
Oh my God! Don't talk about Brad Pitt. He's now burned 2 of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, but I have to say that like the Brad Pitt episode of Friends is one of my all-time favorite episodes.
So good. The We Hate Rachel Green Club.
They
It's
had
so funny.
so many famous people on that show.
Yep.
He's
So
really
funny.
actually very funny.
John McClane was on that show.
He was. He
Okay,
was,
can you tell me who
Elizabeth
that
Dad.
is?
It's
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. He was Elizabeth's dad.
Elizabeth's
Yeah,
dad.
he dated Rachel.
Well, I'm like, can you tell me in the context of Friends? But Bruce Willis, I get.
yeah.
Yes. They had a lot of people on there. And it's so funny. We were rewatching Harry Potter once, and my husband goes, that guy, he's watching Sirius Black. He's like, that guy looks like the guy that spits on Joey. Isn't that so weird? And I'm like, that's him. That's literally him. And he's like, the guy that did Infinite like this? And I'm like, yeah, that's Gary Oldman.
Oh my God! I never put that together until this moment.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that might be a symptom of your house, which my husband shares with you.
OMG, my mind is blown right now.
That's so funny. Every time I meet another one of you guys, I'm like, oh man, you're just like George.
What am I? Why do you know this about me?
Wait, we'll get to that.
Like, what are these
We will
assumptions
get
being
there.
made?
We'll get there.
All right.
So okay. Guest time. Time to go into work mode, Lauren.
Work mode?
Yeah, we're being very organized here, guys.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
gonna be very
I mean,
strictly
logical
followed
place
episode.
to start is where have we met Tricia? It will be no surprise to anybody that where all our guests come from is the Supernatural fandom.
That's right.
We don't have any other friends. I don't know what to tell the people who listen to this podcast.
The fandom is very large. It's not your fault.
It is extremely large. I will give it that. And I think it's pretty diverse.
Yep.
Like there are a lot of different people in it. And
A
I
lot
have
of good people.
Yeah, and Tricia's up in Canada land with the moose and the Mounties, but I have met her once at a convention, um, in line to meet Misha Collins, and he took 50 minutes to get into his cast costume. So
True
we
story.
sat next to each other for a long time.
50 minutes to put the trench coat on me.
He literally took that. Yeah, I
It
don't
was
know what
like
he was
one
doing.
of the longest lines I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah, it got to
Wow.
the point that I sat down on the hotel floor because I was
Oh my gosh.
tired.
Yeah, that
And-
tracks.
Yeah, it was also a magical experience because I knew Tricia but didn't really know Tricia.
Mhm.
So we were like,
How did you know Tricia?
well, like Twitter, but not
Yeah,
really
knew of
talking on
each
Twitter.
other.
Yeah.
Well, we
With
have
you,
that in common.
Moose.
My start with Tricia. I
You're
know
gonna
you
meet in
of Twitter.
April.
Are you
at
coming to
NJCon.
Jersey?
I am hoping, as long as I can safely get from Canada
Yeah.
to the United States, yes, I will be
Oh,
there.
yay. I hope so. Everyone keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. You get vaccinated and, let's go. Let's get this
Boosted,
thing.
wear a mask.
Yeah, boost it.
Yep,
I
yep.
can meet Tricia, please. I actually requested Lauren to hunt
She did.
Tricia down
Yeah,
and
this
ask if
is-
she would be part of this because in the Twitter sphere, even if you're not following someone, Twitter still likes to put their tweets on your timeline if a lot of your friends engage with them, and everybody engages with you, Tricia.
Aw.
You're all over my timeline. I'm like, she likes Friends a lot. Can you get her?
She really, really does. Me and my sister, we must have watched the entire series multiple times together when we lived together, and then even after now, like we've moved out a long time ago, but we just randomly send each other texts with which episodes we happen to be watching or a joke that only we get because of Friends, and I'm
Yeah.
a big fan. I can relate everything back to Friends.
Me too. It's one of the few things that relates me back to my family.
Yeah?
It's like one of the few things, the common things we can find. Because, I mean, when did it come out? 94?
I don't
think
know.
94.
It ended in 2002, so.
I think it ended 2004. And it went 94 to
Did it?
2004. Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty sure. And it's one of those things I grew up watching with it was one of the only shows everybody watched. And even when it was inappropriate for me at 4 years old to have Friends on the screen, it was there. So it's the same thing. Me and my brother are sending texts back and forth, just like Ross the divorce force and whatever, just random stuff. But it's a very unifying show that way.
I'm excited for my oldest. Kaylee is 10, and I'm excited for her to get to the age where she wants to watch it with me because I feel like that's
Yeah.
something that we will be able to watch together when she gets just a little bit older. So that'll
Yeah.
be fun to rewatch it with her for the first time.
Oh, that'll be really fun.
My
Yeah,
mom
for all the kids
rewatched
to
it
tell
with
us,
me
like,
when I
for them to
rewatched
tell
it
us,
just
like,
now.
Mom, this is like really lame. What do you think this is funny? I love it, kids. So you're gonna love it too. And I'm like that a little bit with Harry Potter, and we like to ask our guests just to start out with, like, what is your experience with Harry Potter? Because this is technically a Harry Potter podcast that doesn't talk about Harry Potter.
I have
Technically, in the sense that we borrow words.
right.
Yeah.
I've read all of the books multiple times. Actually, before I became obsessed with Supernatural, I would say Harry Potter was my biggest obsession. I would read the books every year. I would start January and then reread them every year. But I actually haven't reread them in about 4 years. But we have recently watched all of the movies with my children, and Kaylee has been getting the illustrated versions of the books for Christmas
Oh, I love
since
that.
she was little. So she just got the newest one that just came out for Christmas. So
Yeah.
we reread them
Did
together.
the fifth one come out?
I believe so. It was like $60.
If
Uncle
it did
dropped
come
the
out, it's not in
ball.
Costco, and I'm gonna be pissed
Yeah,
because
my
I was
uncle
hunting
dropped
it
the
down.
ball because he gets those for me as a gift.
Yeah,
Trisha,
Kaylee got it.
I'm trying to do the exact same thing as you. Like,
Yeah.
my daughter's only 5, so no Harry Potter yet. But I want to introduce her through the illustrated versions too, so I've been collecting them.
We started Kaylee her first one when she was 7.
Yeah, that feels like a good age.
Yeah,
That's
and
the age, I
she
guess.
loved it. And I thought we would get to the point where it was only like the illustrated books that she would
Yeah.
read them as they came out. But she got so into it that my husband just read them to her like from the beginning all the way through. So she's also read all of the Harry Potter books at least 3
Wow.
times.
I love that. Do you have her sorted? Well, she's 10, so technically not of sorting
She has
age.
yeah, she's self-sorted as a Ravenclaw, and
Nice.
I feel that is the right choice.
Yeah.
She
Yep.
did a good job.
She did.
Well, I from your tweets, which is how I sort everybody
Rachel
on Twitter.
came to me
I
and was
told
like,
Lauren,
"Is Trisha a Ravenclaw?" I was like,
Yes,
"Yeah,
she is."
I knew it.
Yep. You did. You got me.
Yay! Yeah, I understand the Ravenclaw vibes. Well, I
You
married
sure
one.
you just didn't see Trisha tweeting about being a Ravenclaw because she does that?
No, no, I really didn't. That's funny though. No, just from your overall vibe. Listen, that's how I sort. It's through the vibes.
I'm
That
down.
is how she sorts.
Get the Ravenclaw vibe from you, which I usually can clock a Ravenclaw, not so much a Hufflepuff. They're an enigma to me.
That fight that we had hasn't happened yet in our podcast universe, where you're
Which
like,
one?
"This guy's a Ravenclaw because of vibes."
I should just start admitting it because our last episode we got into a real big fight.
No, it's an upcoming episode.
Well, in our last one we got into a big fight, and I just
we
did not want
recorded
to
it. It's
admit
coming
it.
out in March. Yeah.
Our previous next whatever. Listen, in
No,
the
it's coming
timeline
out
that
in
we're
March.
in,
We recorded it already. It
the
was
last
with
one we
Illy and Haley.
recorded.
Yeah.
Last one we recorded, we got into a big argument about it. And for me, really, it truly was, he's a Ravenclaw because of the vibes. And I can't say that with Lauren because she needs me to explain further, and sometimes
Because
I can't.
I was giving you evidence.
But
and you
does
were like,
evidence
yeah,
really
but I'm
outweigh
taking
vibes?
your evidence and I'm just vibing.
Vibes and evidence, and the vibes are not off. So, rough. It gets rough out here sometimes. But I love that your kids are getting into Harry Potter enough to be sorting themselves.
Yes, my son Tucker has self-declared as a Gryffindor. And,
yeah, Tucker!
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking about it because they just got their second vaccines on Thursday. And
Mhm.
he
Nice.
was the brave one who was like, he's younger, but he's like, okay,
Aw.
Kaylee, I'll go first. I'll show you. It's totally fine. Sat down, took that shot like a pro.
He took
And I was like, you are
responsibility.
brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. We welcome Tucker to the Gryffindor fold. For
Thank
sure.
you.
I know it's tough sometimes because you're like, you gotta wait until they're older to really sort them. I mean, for people like me and Lauren who kind of obsessively do this, and with my 5-year-old, I'm like, I gotta do it. I'm getting
the story
vibes.
with me is really funny because you've been telling me a vibe forever, and we just had that conversation where you were like, "Oh no."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in the one house I don't truly fundamentally understand, which is going to be,
Since Mia was like a baby and then like 3 years old, and she was like, I think Mia's one of yours. And I was like, you cannot tell me that this 3-year-old is a Slytherin. Like, you have to wait. She's like, I'm just getting vibes. I was like, you have to wait. And now she's like, now she's talking and has a personality. And I just visited in December and we were talking. I was like, Rachel, she's giving me Hufflepuff.
I'm like, I don't know. It would be so cosmically funny if she was a Hufflepuff, and then I went like, wait a minute. Oh no, I'm never gonna get this kid. Oh no. So she's leaning towards the puffs, but we'll see.
Yeah,
there's time.
Well,
Yeah.
Rachel's husband doesn't understand Hufflepuffs either, so and
That's
he
great.
feels the same way about me. So he's like, I don't know.
We both correctly sort everybody except Hufflepuffs usually. Then we're like,
Interesting.
we don't know what they are. They're probably Hufflepuff.
So, but you still correctly sort them because you're like, I don't know. So
That's true. Thank you for giving me that.
I am happy to hear that's kind of how you work the Hufflepuff thing because I was talking to my boss about doing this podcast. He's also a Harry Potter fan. And that's what he was like, well, what are Hufflepuffs? I'm like, they're just like the rest. You don't know where they go. You're like, oh, no, you're Hufflepuff.
The thing is we have Ravenclaws and Slytherins are very logic-based, and Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs are very emotion-based. And you'd think me, being a very intense emotional person, I'd understand another emotional house, but I don't because, yeah, they're emotional, but in such a different way than I am. So I can never understand why. I'm like, y'all getting mad about that?
I can't get past how good a satire a Harry Potter musical is because I keep coming back to that line where Dumbledore's like, I put the bad guys in a Slytherin, I put the good guys in a Gryffindor, and then everybody else can go wherever the hell they want. I don't care.
Well, I like to tell the story that I always wanted to be a Ravenclaw super bad to the point that like my handles on everything, even my like current Apple gamer tag, whatever, is Ravenclaw. Because I loved it. I loved it so much. I was like, I want.
That was your handle when I met you. In Twitter.
Yeah, it was Ravenclaw on Twitter. And very quickly in talking to Lauren and talking about the science of sorting, we were like, maybe perhaps not.
Time for an identity
Perhaps
change.
not.
Yeah. Meanwhile, with me, I was like, Rachel, I'm a Slytherin. Like, I keep getting Gryffindor on the test, but I think
I
I'm a
gotta tell
Slytherin.
ya.
Within like a week, she was like, yeah, you're very Slytherin.
Every Slytherin I've ever met, though, is so proud about it. Like, from the jump, they're like, I read the books, I saw the movies, I'm very into it. Yeah, I'm a Slytherin. And then they say it to you like, so you want to fight? They're ready to go, and they love it. And all my closest friends are Slytherins. I'm like surrounded over here.
I went from telling my boss that I thought he was Slytherin, and he was like insulted and like, how could you say that? And then
Yeah.
within like the span of the conversation, he's like, I think you're right. I think I am Slytherin. And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you.
My close personal friend was offended, but then I told him I was a Slytherin. and he was like, oh shit.
Look, you got to explain it correctly because people get the terrible version of Slytherins from the books. You have to look deeper.
Yep.
Deeper.
Yeah, the book's
The Good
revised and the author is shit and didn't do a good job with anything.
Yeah,
So-
like look at her. She's a Hufflepuff. So if
You're
you want to be like,
silly.
Hufflepuffs are the nice house.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Are they? Who knows? There's good and bad people everywhere, man. But we're taking the good and rolling with it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here on this podcast, which I don't want to give up, so don't make me.
but, we already talked about how you guys are with Friends. So I'll just say real quickly that I didn't grow up watching Friends, at least not that I remember. Because I would have been in 4th grade when it ended. So what age
She's a
was that?
bebe.
10?
You're
Something like
infants.
that. Yeah, I know.
Well, I was 14 when it
No,
ended.
she was she was a little older. I was like 10. So I probably didn't watch it live, but I absolutely watch it syndicated. Like I saw it on
Yeah.
TBS, saw it on
everywhere.
Night, saw it on TNT. And so when we were gonna do this, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing. And Rachel's like, oh my god, you haven't seen it? And I was like, I probably have, but like out of order over the course of like 6 years. So I was like, I want
Right.
to watch it through correctly. So that's what I did.
How did you find your rewatch experience?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was really easy to get through.
Yeah,
I did it
you're
in
quick.
like 3 weeks, and that was just watching a couple episodes after work each week.
It's
But
so funny, isn't it? It's so funny.
Was
It is pretty
there
funny.
some episodes that you hadn't seen that, like, because you were kind of under the impression that you thought you saw them all? So was there some that jumped out and you were like, wow, I don't think I've seen this one?
there were only 1 or 2 that I was like, But everything else, like I was like, I vividly remember the Thanksgiving with the football game. Like that's an
Yeah.
episode that I remember really well. And I was like waiting for that one to come up. I remember the Thanksgiving with the thing that Rachel makes, the
The trifle.
trifle. Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
remember that
right.
one vividly. But I was like, obviously, I know these ones because they're probably like the most popular ones,
The
right?
Thanksgiving
And so
ones,
that
for
they
sure.
get syndicated a lot. But yeah, no, there were only 1 or 2 that I was like, I don't know that I've seen this before. And I'll also say, doing the rewatch, the flashback episodes they do get really, really annoying because
Yep.
they just show the scenes over and over again. And I'm like, I literally just
when
saw
you're
this
doing
happen.
a rewatch, you can't. You got to skip those.
I
Yeah.
watched them because there were in between parts,
But
Like,
they were
had,
so
like,
good
5
live.
minutes
You have to
of
understand,
plot.
like as a child of the '90s, they were so good live because you hadn't
when
seen
you couldn't
them
go
or
stream shit. Yeah.
You couldn't rewatch them, so you
Yeah.
get a flashback. You'd be like, "Remember when that happened?"
Yeah.
And now we skip right through it. We're like, "Oh my god, syndication is dead!" Like we're just screaming out here. But yeah, that's so. It's something that I didn't even think about until I was rewatching it too. And I'm like, George, maybe we just skip this one. Like,
Yeah.
literally just watch this
Like I
happen.
literally saw this just happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a product of its time in many ways. But it's still, I think the good parts of it still hold up, and I can't let it go, and I won't.
It's not as tone deaf as Sex in the City has turned out to be.
True.
Yeah.
Anyone watching the new one?
Yep.
No, but I've been reading articles about it.
Tricia, how you feeling about the new one?
The first episode and a half I found incredibly cringy, as if
Yep.
they were like constantly trying to remind us how old they were, but like we could see it, so like we know.
Right.
But as it's kept going, I find myself like I did get sucked into it, and there are still some cheesy moments, but overall, I think it's just as watchable as the original.
Yeah, I found like I'm nonstop cringing. Like a lot of it is very like we're woke. Did you know we're woke?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
woke.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, but that's not enough to like. At least you're trying. That's great. And there are parts that are entertaining. I don't know. It might be the pull of something that I loved once as a youth.
I
can't let
can
it
see
go.
that. Yeah.
It needs more Samantha, though.
I
They need
agree.
to get
And
her
they
back.
like there's some characters that like they have not done anything good. Like poor Steve.
Oh yeah.
Steve has just always deserved better.
He has. I agree. I just watched this and I'm like, man, like they made him like a running joke with the
I know.
that he's like losing his hearing and that he's like an old like like Brooklyn kind of
Yeah.
guy. Like that was his charm and I feel like they kind of took it from him. So that sucks for
I
him, but
know. And they made Brady such a little jerk.
oh yeah.
What the hell is Brady's problem?
Sounds
Yeah,
like it's
and-
Miranda's fault.
Well, and
It
like
probably is Miranda's fault.
Miranda as a parent though, like from the early show, like she never would have let her kid turn out like that.
Nope.
So
Very strange.
there's some strange things.
I
they've
don't
done.
think Miranda should have cheated. She was so pissed when Steve did it to her, and like I don't know what's happening now.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm with you on that one. I don't think anybody who's ever been cheated on would then be the cheater.
No.
Especially after taking that person back. Like
Yeah.
maybe yeah, but I don't know. Whatever.
Her character's becoming a mess real quick for me.
Yep,
And I'm like, bring Samantha in here. She's the only mess who did mess correctly.
I
And we
agree.
loved and respected
But
it.
that
Thank you.
actress deserves better, so
I know.
unfortunately,
I
we
know.
have to live without her.
But I don't want to. So I'm
Give her own show, like Joey got that I didn't
I
watch,
would-
even though
because Joey show's terrible. That's why.
I didn't watch it either.
Awful.
I was like, would this help me sort Joey? And then I read the synopsis and I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch that.
Nope. NBC just didn't want to let it go. And he was the only one that was like, I'll come back and do a whole thing. And it was bad.
It always is.
It also reading the synopsis fell out of character for his house. So I was like,
Mm.
I'm just not gonna call this canon.
Well, let's get into who we're sorting today. So we had to divvy this up, right? We can't do all 6 in one. So
we
just
could,
had
but
to
it would be
decide.
not as fun.
Yeah, it's not as fun.
Or it would be 5 hours and Hannah would kill us.
True. We have on the docket today Ross, Chandler, and Joey. Yay!
The boys.
The boys. The boys are friends.
I really didn't care how we mixed this up, how we did it. I love all of them. I mean, I have my favorites. Let's do who's your top 3, Tricia?
My top 3 of the 3
Yeah.
boys.
Of the no, of all 6. Who's your top 3 characters?
Oh man. Chandler's really up there for me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go like Chandler, Phoebe, and Joey.
Fair. Lauren?
It's Chandler, Phoebe, and probably Rachel.
Wow, you're only gonna hate me.
I know.
Don't say Ross. Do not.
Chandler, Rachel, Ross.
Oh,
Chandler, Rachel, Ross.
I can't believe you just said Ross.
I love him so much. I know that he can be terrible, but I love him. I love terrible people in media.
In media. Okay.
Tricia,
I
before you
do.
came into this room, Rachel and I were having a legitimate argument about how I think Ross is a horrible, terrible person, and she's
He's
like,
not
I'm
a
gonna
horrible,
beat you
terrible
up. I'm
person.
gonna beat you up.
He's not a bad person.
I'm sorry, but I'm with Lauren on this one.
She was like, Trisha's
I
gonna be
will
with you,
be-
and I'm gonna be mad.
I will be on Team Ross over here, and I don't care.
All by yourself in
why?
the corner.
Because he's hilarious. That's why. Can you make me laugh? Yeah. No one makes me laugh harder except Chandler.
I will say that, like, I know Lauren said she didn't watch the reunion, but, like, because I disliked Ross so much as a character, I was so surprised by how likable David Schwimmer was.
He's wonderful.
I was
He's like a
like,
really
he's a
good
nice
person.
person.
Yes!
I know him from Madagascar. He plays
yeah?
the giraffe. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so then you two would say your least favorite is Ross of the 6?
Yeah.
Yes.
My least favorite is Joey of the 6.
Joey's
Sorry.
a close 4th for me, and then Monica. And it's not because I dislike Monica; it's just because I like the others more. I don't
I'm
dislike
still
Monica.
reeling from the Joey hate.
I don't hate him. Just if I had to line them up, I'm going to just say it, okay? When they have a dum-dum character, I don't like it. So like SpongeBob, right? I loved SpongeBob as a kid. I hated Patrick Star viscerally. Like I would leave the room in Patrick-centric. I don't like it when they have a character that's like just dumber for the jokes. I don't know, when they do that to Joey a lot. And then also he came between my ships. So as a child, there was this like visceral hatred. Sorry.
I need
Trisha,
to know
did you
your
like Joey and
ship.
Rachel?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Was that your
Yeah, I
ship?
didn't like that.
I didn't.
No.
No, hers is Ross and Rachel, but Joey got
okay.
between it. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ross and Rachel. So we do agree on something.
Well, they were my first ship, Trisha.
I think I'm with you. I think they were my first two.
Yeah, they're the first two I ever like really wanted to be in love, and I followed it through for 10 freaking years for a payoff, and they tried to shoe that Joey thing in at the end, and I was like, you do it, and I'll burn you down, NBC. I'll burn it down. At 14, I'll go with gasoline. So
you were
I'm
always
very attached to
passionate.
I surely was. So I definitely do not hate Joey. I don't hate any of them, but I guess he's just the one that he's there sometimes for me, you know?
Mhm.
I will say the bottom used to be Phoebe for me. I did not get her as a child. I didn't understand half the jokes they were writing for her, so I never really understood her. And then as I got older and like later in my teen years and adult years, I was like, oh, she's wonderful. I love Phoebe.
Phoebe is fantastic for being so unapologetically Phoebe.
I can't wait to talk about Phoebe
it's
because we
wonderful.
were towards the end of the rewatch and I looked at my mom and I was like, Phoebe is just like whatever life wants to throw at her. She loves it. She's ready
Yeah.
for it. I love her. Oh, I want
Lisa Kudrow just got her.
She did.
She just got her.
Like at that. There was the one joke. I mean, she talks about her mom all the time and how her mom's dead, but she just in the later episodes. I think it's when they want to. Yeah, it's Monica's bridesmaid or whatever. And Phoebe's like
dead mom card.
Yeah. Phoebe's like, well, my mom's dead, and Rachel's like, you can't use that to get the last muffin and to be the bridesmaid. She's like, oh, did I already use that today? Okay, that's fair.
The best is when she finds out her grandma with the Nestle Toll House recipe, and she's like, and I know she's just looking up at us, and looking up. Do you mean looking down? No, she's definitely in hell.
But this episode isn't about Phoebe as much as I can't wait to talk about Phoebe.
Yeah, I can't wait either. But yeah, we'll do the boys first and we'll save the best for last because the girls, we love the girls. But notice we all did say Chandler as number one.
We all have taste.
We sure do. Chandler is a timeless character who we can all relate to in certain ways, I think. I really, really relate to Chandler.
I make jokes, but I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Lauren, who are we sorting first?
I
Who do
had
we wanna
Ross,
sort
but if
first?
you want to talk about Chandler, we can do Chandler.
No, let's get Ross out of the way because, he's divisive. So I'll just get him out of the way here. I want to say I don't condone all of Ross's behavior. I don't agree with all of his behavior, but I understand it, especially through the lens of his house. And he's so funny. God, like
Tricia
David
gets to sort
Schwimmer
first.
plays him so funny. You cannot deny that Ross had you crying with laughter at certain points. You can't. Don't lie to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
I agree.
I mean, he was a very physical actor, so that was funny.
He really was.
Yeah.
Those leather pants, huh?
The leather pants, yes.
I remember when those were kind of popping, when those were popular. Like the leather pants look was trying to come back at some point, maybe early 2000s, a little bit with Buffy. She had red leather pants and it was like a thing coming back. But I remember seeing them in stores in like Limited too, which should not have been selling leather pants for children, and being like, no, because I remember Ross couldn't get them off. I can't.
If you sweat, you're toast.
Yeah, forget it. Oh my God.
I
Ross.
thought a lot about Ross, and again, it could be the whole like negative connotations kind of thing because I don't like him. But my initial thought was Slytherin.
Mhm.
Why are Slytherins a negative connotation?
I don't know. It's the whole because Draco was mostly a bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He
maybe.
was, but
Yeah.
he's not the only Slytherin, you know.
I know.
I mean, the source material doesn't give many good ones, but
And Lauren is evil.
yes, yeah. If anybody was unaware,
I think he's calculating, and I think that and again, I could be wrong that this is a Slytherin trait, but I find that he's very selfish.
He is.
no, that is
He
also a
That can be
Slytherin trait.
That can be a
Okay.
Slytherin
Yeah.
trait. Well, we agree.
When you make it your whole personality, especially.
It is kind of, yeah, Ross's selfishness is pretty much like a consistent thing all 10 seasons.
Yeah.
It really very
Yeah,
much is.
every single thing that happens, it's how is this affecting me, and how is it affecting me negatively? Most of all, like
Well, he likes to feel sorry for himself.
he does.
I agree.
He
Yeah.
absolutely does.
And he's also incredibly self-destructive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Incredibly self-destructive. But if I look for like my one other Ross fan out there who might be listening, he's got some good parts to him that are like indicative of his house.
Okay,
So
Rachel, let me give you this first. I will say that what I think the best parts of Ross is when he was made fun of for like the shit, and he's like, yeah, you're right. That like, and he joins in on it. I'm like, all right, Ross, you're an okay
when
person
he's not
here.
defending it.
Yeah. When he's like, when like they get to the point after he's had 3 divorces where they're making fun of his divorces, and he's like, yeah,
3
you're
divorces?
like I've fucked up.
Well, all right. So starting with like Slytherins need to have a circle. It's one of the like key things you see with them when they have a circle. And for Ross, I think he thought his circle had Carol in it. And I think he was really dedicated to that marriage. And he was really torn apart when she didn't want him anymore.
Yep.
So he loses his circle. And I think there's an argument that can be made that Ross was pretty depressed, like truly depressed in the first couple seasons.
Yeah, and I want to put in there too, Rachel, that I think she was part of a circle, but also he didn't want that failure.
Well, and he's very Jonah from Superstore that way.
Yes.
The failure really messes with Ross's head. He cannot.
Probably didn't help
failure.
that he grew up being the favorite child, you know?
Yeah, so when you're the golden child and the gifted child, like that translates into a ton of issues later in life. And I mean, they still hero worship Ross, his parents, and like kick Monica to the side all the time in favor of Ross. And it's as much as he plays into that and he's like, I love being mommy's favorite. It's gotta weigh on you pretty hard. And so he's got the first failed marriage, which is hard enough to swallow. And he's got this baby coming, and that, listen, if you're a parent, the first kid coming is scary for everybody. You don't know what the hell you're doing. And he doesn't know what parenting is going to look like. And then Rachel comes back into his life. And this is like childhood crush love, which, oh my God, just destroys you. So he's got a lot going on in those early seasons.
Yeah, and I will say, too, that I think that is also a Slytherin trait. The fact that he held on to that crush to Rachel as his first ever crush. I have said in past episodes, and some other people might do this, but I think that I do this so much and so reliably is a Slytherin thing, is that when I get stuck on that first person, I don't move. So when you throw me into like love triangle, like I can talk about Twilight, like I never went for Team Jacob because Edward was the first one to show up. Or like,
I'm like you that way, but I think Slytherins.
Or no, but you're not
more.
exactly like me in that way because the Hunger Games, I was like Team Gale all the way. Like
no, I'm Team Gale.
Oh, are
like
you?
Yeah,
I thought you liked Peeta.
He's the first. I'm the same way as you with that. Like the first person I see is the one my brain latches onto. But for me, I think it's it becomes like an emotional thing. I can't let go of it. It does something to me. The first people I see and love, and I don't want to. Don't mess it up. Even if it makes more sense later, don't mess it up. Like come back to each other. So, I mean, that's the Ross and Rachel of it all. I think they did that to me. I think they put that in my head. But I do see it as a very Slytherin thing to not be able to let go of the thing that you latched on to.
Especially when it's
which he latched onto Rachel really, really hard. And she wasn't into him, which is sad for him. But when you see his mustache and
his curly
hair.
Then we get it.
Yeah, we get it a little bit.
No, that's another problem that I had with Ross that was also Slytherin is so he does get to date Rachel, and at that point he is very grateful, and like obviously he knows that like this is huge and that he should be grateful. But after the point of dating Rachel, once they break up, he won't let go of that ownership of her. Like I didn't think it was like
he does in later seasons.
Yeah, but not like. Like,
no, he does. There's points where they don't make
as much as you hate Joey and Rachel, it was still like mostly Ross that was keeping them apart, and I didn't think that was fair. And then
it's Ross keeping them apart until they realize they just aren't gonna.
Yeah, but I think it was still like some underlying Ross stuff. And then also, I like when she's living in his apartment and he doesn't give her the phone call, the message that was left on her machine because he's like, we have a baby together, so like I have some sort of ownership over this relationship and like who you get to date.
Oh yeah, and he does a lot of messed up shit surrounding Rachel, but I don't want to go too hard in defense of Rachel because she does a lot of fucked up shit, and I love her. She's number 2 for me. She does a lot of fucked up shit, a lot of manipulative shit.
No, I'm not even talking about Rachel. Just the fact that he takes ownership over her, even though they're not dating anymore.
He does.
Like he drives people away from her, and like that was the original breakup issue, right? Because she wasn't allowed to be friends with Mark. Like
I know, but I think she does.
No,
that
I know, but he does it first. Like she starts to egg it on. No, but he initially immediately is like a guy wouldn't just offer you a job. Like, and she's
Right.
like, dude, I just
Well,
want
it's that
to work
misogynistic
at
90s bullshit,
Bloomingdale's.
too, that we
Yeah.
kind of have to combat when we're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's there. I agree. He really does feel like he's entitled to her, and I think it's... Look, obviously he's not, but when you look at it from, he's a Slytherin, he's been yearning for this person since he's like, 14? And they're almost 30 now, and he really, really loves her. And I think this happens with Slytherin sometimes where you just hold on too tight and don't realize that you're squeezing the person.
I think it
Squeezing.
also has something to do with the popular cheerleader and the geek in school, because that was their
Oh, yeah.
dynamic, right? So I
Yeah.
think that a lot of Russ and Rachel, I think that Ross didn't necessarily feel worthy. Like he thought that she was like the better one and that she could do better, and that's why he held on so tight.
That makes me sad. That makes me sad for Ross, my friend, my guy. You're like, not me. Get over it.
Kind of like
Well,
a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It
because
really
he
is.
clung so hard and felt like he wasn't worthy, that's what drove her away.
Yeah, he did it to himself. The whole Mark argument, like the Slytherin jealousy is big time there.
Yeah.
And he behaves so ridiculously that, like, he holds on too tight and he pushes her so far that she's like, all right, we need a break. Which in his scrambled ass brain, especially after like Carol and Susan,
Mm-hmm.
he's taking it as a breakup. Now, I don't forgive cheating, not even once. I don't forgive it. But once I looked at Ross as a Slytherin, I considered like how horrible he had to feel, how he was very clearly still depressed from Carol. And this is an equal blow because the way he loved Carol is the way he loves Rachel, if not more, if we're being honest. So he blows it up. And the self-destructive cycle, it's not fair. It's not fair to Rachel. But I understand how he got there.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks because I didn't want it to go there.
I mean, I hate that I can't understand it because I can, but I have this issue with the Slytherins I don't like, that I can see how they got there and I just don't agree that they did it. I'm like, why?
Because you wouldn't have gone
well,
that way.
no, why didn't you? And it's been a day. Like, I could understand it even more if they were on break for a week and he like snapped. He literally goes out the next day. Like, without
because
talking
he's
to her
drinking
all.
at the bar
Yeah.
and he hears Mark in the background on the phone and he thinks she's like screwing around with Mark. And he's like, oh, this is what Carol did to me. So she's doing it to me because this is my life. This is what happens to me. And whammy, whammy. And he does the wrong thing.
Talk about that stuff. But the problem was, too, that I think Rachel was, before she started being like, I'm so over this. Like, you keep pressing on this and it's not happening. And I'm just like, I'm over it. But I think she was trying to talk about it and he wasn't listening. Like, he was so sure that he was right.
He was too...
Yeah.
And that's a thing with Ross. He thinks he's right all the time.
And that's a Slytherin thing. No. And it's not just related. Like, this is a character trait of Ross. Every single thing, he has to be right about it. Even when it doesn't matter. He has that stupid fight with Phoebe over evolution. Like, who the fuck cares if Phoebe believes in evolution? And he's like, I'm a scientist. I am a dinosaur scientist, and I study evolution every day, and I need to prove to you that evolution is a thing. And Phoebe is like, dude, it's not that serious for me.
It killed him to admit that there was a small possibility that it wasn't evolution. Right when he had that conversation with Phoebe, it killed him to be like, fine, there's a teeny tiny possibility.
Yeah. Well, because he has to always find the logical argument and follow that thread. So, like, even in, like, season 2, so he's pretty content with Julie, but he's still in love with Rachel. That doesn't ever really go away. Mm-hmm. But when he finds out, when she drunk calls him, the Slytherin temper, which is kind of warranted, like, you drunk called me when I'm finally happy with someone, he confronts her in Central Perk. He's like, you had every day we were hanging out. Oh, you couldn't tell me the entire year? Like, it doesn't even matter that it's something he's wanted to hear since he was a literal kid. It doesn't matter that everything he wants is on a plate right here. He's like, you're wrong. You're wrong for how you did that. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back in. But, like, he couldn't help but point out how she was wrong, how it wasn't fair to him.
And I feel like there's other instances of Ross being Slytherin that's not just tied to Rachel. Like, even, like, he's been friends with Chandler since high school, college, whatever.
Yeah.
College. And remember when he said that he used to blame Chandler for getting high so that his parents didn't know it was him?
So his parents didn't know.
Yes, like, how can I blame this on somebody else?
Yeah.
No, yeah, and then even when Chandler he's dating Monica, so he wants Monica's parents to like him. Ross is like, I still really don't want to tell.
Yeah.
And they're like, Ross, you have to.
He refuses. He's like, but they won't love me as much anymore. And I can see every Slytherin kid in their bedroom having done like the one wrong thing they've ever done in their lives, being like, how can I hoist this off on someone else?
Exactly.
Like, I cannot let anyone know
Yep.
that this was me. Lauren,
What?
you ever do anything bad as a kid
Yes.
that you wanted to shift on to someone else?
I didn't like, shift on it. I just
Don't look over here. I didn't do it.
just pretended it never happened. You know? Like,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my examples of Russ, I think, are very tied to Rachel just because I'm like trash for that shit. So I constantly just keep thinking back to those kinds of examples for like, well, something that I thought was really interesting was his reaction to like the tape of him taking Rachel to prom or like wanting to take her to prom.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because his parents really hype him up and he takes the risk. And I was talking to Lauren about this, about Slytherins and Gryffindors versus taking risks. He really thinks it's going to paint him in a heroic light.
Yeah.
He really thinks it's going to get him the girl at the end of it. But also, she's like the sun and the moon and the stars up his ass at that point. So he's going to do anything he can to get this moving in the direction that he wants. So like a Slytherin does, puts everybody in their correct spots. And he's guided by his parents. And it backfires. And you see like this, when a Slytherin feels that kind of shame, he was so sure. And then he feels so much shame. He didn't even want them watching the tape. Whereas like the tape paints you as the good guy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, the
he
tape's a
still
good thing.
felt that all those years later. Like,
Yeah.
him standing by the door when they watch that, like, that's probably, like, the most gutted we ever see Ross.
I can't watch it.
No,
I can't
but it's
watch
also
it.
failure again.
Yeah,
You don't
fully
want people
failure,
to
yeah.
see failure.
They're like, dude, you were totally the hero here. And he's like, no, I failed.
Yeah, and then there's also, it was so unexpected, too. Like, it's not something
Yeah.
he maneuvered. Monica's like, oh my god, let's watch the tape. And then she's like, oh, it's our prom tape. And he's, like, totally caught off guard. And he immediately was like, we don't have to watch this. And it was like, no,
Right.
I want to watch this. And it gets to the point where he's like, well, I'm not going to watch it. And he's, like, walking. And you see, because he starts to walk out of the apartment, and he turns around, like, trying to, like, somebody follow me. Like, let's get this started. Let's
Yeah.
go. He didn't
Mhm.
maneuver it or, like, manipulate to that point at all. So he was totally
No.
caught off guard by it. And he wasn't ready. There was no surety in his brain that Rachel would like respond favorably to it, right? So it was just
Right.
like maybe another failure is about to happen.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for like, you know?
Yeah. And he can't deal with failure.
Mm-mm.
He really, really can't. And he also can't deal with like, this is also a huge Slytherin thing because sometimes I'll be talking to Lauren and I'll be saying something that's completely not confrontational, like I don't mean it a certain way. And she'll be like, I don't like how that makes me look. Or like, I don't like what that implies about me. So when Rachel's like, I didn't have to listen to my mom. She's once a cheater, always a cheater. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not taking responsibility for that. You're not painting me with the cheater label like I didn't cheat. And so even though all of us can be like, yeah, you did.
No. Yeah, no.
He can't.
This is part of Russ too. It's again, it goes into his, oh my God, it goes into everything, Russ. Goes into failure, goes into always I have to be right. But he does this constantly, like, we were on a break. I'm on sabbatical. Like,
Yeah.
stop painting it in a bad light. It's not, even though it really is, like, it's bad. You cheated and you got fired from your job because you screamed at your boss and you got diagnosed with anger issues, like, over a sandwich. So
I wonder
It's
how
not
much
just
of
a
that
sandwich.
I wonder how much of that goes back to, like, his parents for, like, always coming up with, like, this is an excuse for Ross why he's not, like, they try to paint him as more perfect than he is. So then
Yeah.
he, like, finds these things to cling to. Like, I actually didn't mess up because we were on a break, and it actually wasn't my fault I got fired because I have these anger issues. So it's, like, the big reason for, like, why he's not perfect.
Yeah, and also your letter has too many grammatical errors that I'm going to point out.
and it put me to sleep because it was 18 pages.
Front
This is
and
again,
back.
it's everything he wants is Rachel. It's everything he wants, and he still can't like if he's in his own way, he can't get through it. Like, you're not going to paint me that way. I'm not going to be seen that way. I'm not going to admit to it. And also, here's how else you're wrong. It's YOU''RE.
He can't. Rachel, I can't with him. The fact that he didn't get the marriage annulled and then was like, maybe Rachel just won't notice.
I know. I know.
Phoebe's like, you really think that's gonna work? And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Listen, this is
It's
very
enough
Jonah
boss.
from Superstore too, and it's an ongoing thing with Ross. Like he when he lies and manipulates over that, it's like it's because the failure is so intense that he can't let it go until he's literally forced to. But it bums him out because like they even say to each other, I think this is the one that would have stuck for us. And I think that ties into Ross's logic about the whole thing. He's probably like, well, whatever, we'll stay married because we're going to get back together at some point anyway. So it's a fully manipulative logic, and he's logicked his way into making himself feel right about it, which is fucked up. Like, you're wrong. You don't lie to the girl, but if anyone's going to understand that it's Rachel, and Rachel's like, yeah, it probably would have worked out at some point. But that's not the point. Third divorce. And then Ross the Divorce Force is born. I love Ross the Divorce Force.
I was going to mention the moment in the Central Perk when all those girls, they're trying to get an opinion about if Ross is in love with Rachel or not.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, that girl is like, I'm attracted to, like, problematic men.
Yeah.
And, like, how, like, Ross snapped that up so fast. Like, he was so willing to take advantage of her, basically, because she was attracted to him for the wrong reasons. But he was like, damn, she's into me. I'm into it. And then she was a freak, so it didn't really work. But he was very willing to take advantage of that.
Ross has a little bit of that. Not, like, insanely, but he does have a little bit of that power. He likes power. Like, I do not like the storyline of him dating a student as a professor. I'm not.
Oh,
hate that.
yes. That is
Really
such
hate that.
a good point. Yes.
Yeah.
And I hate how all the guys are like, that's so great. Like, it's disgusting, actually. Hate that. I don't.
And that was another thing with Ross, too. He's like, it's not illegal. It's frowned on. Or, like, you know, it's
right.
not.
He's got to spell out
Yeah.
why it's okay that he's doing it. Yeah. Oh, I hate that storyline.
Yeah, and then also, while he's doing it, he's still hiding from the professor, so he clearly knows that it's not right.
He lies to his class that he has a British accent, too. Like, he really needs to be seen a certain way.
Yep.
Because he's never cool. He's the kid who writes comics and gets mugged by Phoebe in childhood. And, like, the only people who like him are his parents. And he's this poor little
And
nerd.
himself, he puts his own hand up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ross is Ross's biggest fan.
I'm your fan too, Ross. I feel for you, man. I just think of this poor little lonely, like, kid in his bedroom with his geology equipment and, like, you know, drawing these science nerd boy.
No, okay, because
and
you know
he loves the cheerleader and she just doesn't even see him.
No, because actually his sibling relationship with Monica was actually pretty good. They entered a dance contest together. So, like, they
I love
obviously
that
were
dance.
Routine.
The routine. I need someone to do the routine with me. I really do. My older brother will not do it. I'm like, it's her older brother and we have to. And he's like, I'm not doing it. Please. I love them. I love their sibling relationship. I'm so happy you brought that up. He is like the only one who comes to Monica's defense to his parents. And he does it rarely because he's so like, yes, mommy, I am the best boy. Take me with you everywhere. But he does defend her when it's needed because they are really hard on her.
Yeah.
I'm going to need an example. When does he defend her?
Well, for me,
in the
the one that
garage.
sticks out right now is in the garage when they let all of her boxes get completely fucked.
Yes.
And he's like, do you not realize that this is horrible? This is going to make her feel horrible?
Point.
And his dad's like, yeah, I guess so. Lights up a cigarette like they don't care.
Right. You're right.
And I mean, yeah, Lauren pointed out later, like, oh, well, it backfires because he thinks he should get the portion, whatever. But him and Monica, and this is also a symptom of Monica's house that we can't talk about yet, but they are just, Ross himself is just so competitive, and this is the Geller's fault.
Mm-hmm.
They made him and Monica crazy competitive.
Yep.
But he really loves his sister. Now, again, we're going to go back into the ownership thing. Why is he angry at Chandler for being with Monica? Because it's my sister?
Yep.
My sister? Like, it's his. He's like a little kid. Like, mine.
Mm-hmm.
Until Chandler proves, like, no, I'm actually in love with her. I'm not just, like, banging your sister. Don't worry. And he's like, oh, my best friend and my sister. Like, so then it's okay. He really does want what's best for her.
I agree.
He loves his sister. I don't think Ross is a bad person. I'm sorry, guys.
I think he's the worst. He's not a bad person. He's just super unlikable to me.
I agree.
I think he's super unlikable to most people. I do. I mean, I think he's supposed to be unlikable at certain points.
Here's the other thing that I can't get over is that Emily was like, you can never hang out with Rachel again. And he was like, but Rachel's my
Emily.
friend. But when Rachel was like, it's okay, he was like, okay. Like, we'll just kick Rachel out of the friend group.
He can't actually do it. He doesn't actually do it.
Well, it's because nobody else.
He's trying. Look, because he's looking out for number one first, right? So this is a Slytherin thing. He's like, I'm just going to remove myself. That's his, like, thing. Let me get myself out of here because I'm going to lose my wife if I don't. And Rachel's like, no, forget it. Like, I'll do it. And he's like, all right. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, no, I actually can't. And I'm going to have to deal with yet another fucking failure that I cannot process. Like, it's so hard for him to get that second divorce. And he, again, did it to himself. You didn't have to say Rachel's name up there, bro. Why? Why'd you do it? Such a stupid mistake. And I think it's one of the times, like, few times you're going to see a Slytherin's emotion completely fuck their logic. And he can't give Rachel up for Emily. He agrees, but he can't stand the idea of being a failure, which, again, I'm going to say Jonah from Superstore. They're very different, but it's really, really prevalent there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an ongoing thing with him. He can't give her up.
No.
And he's not giving his friends up. So bye, Emily. I hate Emily. I really didn't like her character, sorry.
Nobody did.
I was fine with her until she started doing that shit. Like, I don't know.
No, because I don't like it. Like, if someone said someone else's name at the altar with me, there would be no second chance.
Okay, that's what I don't understand about that whole thing. Why did she marry him and then run away? Like, you permanently bound yourself to this person and then you left? Why didn't you just go, the marriage is no longer happening, and then run away?
I don't actually.
She had an out, right? Like, the whatever, the minister guy was like, do you want to continue? And she was like, yeah, but, like, she just said, like, give me a hot minute here, and then she could run.
Yeah. And then you do that, and you want to come in and, like, break up this little family here. Like, the way he didn't have a right to disrespect you up there, you don't have a right to come in and do that either.
Right.
So the best thing to do is part ways.
Yep.
So I didn't really like her. I didn't understand her. That's all.
It was good for drama for the storyline, though.
I know.
That's really all they got.
Who's saying the wrong name at the altar? Come on. Not happening.
No.
I think also the whole divorce thing, it moves into season 7. Like, we talked a little bit about Ross and Rachel's divorce and how it's so manipulative and so bad. And you see it in the end of the show, too. Like, he tries to bribe Mr. Zellner to keep Rachel's job.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to keep her here. Like, why, Ross? Why are you doing it? Admit it to yourself. Because I want her to be here. I love Rachel. Yeah, you love Rachel, correct. And he doesn't get it. He's like, I'm jealous about Mark again? I don't know why.
That was so...
Trying to manipulate her boss again? I don't know why.
That was so funny in Slytherin, too, that he was like, when they meet Mark for the first time, when Rachel is fired and they're taking all her stuff out, and he was like, who was that guy? And she was like, that was Mark. And he's like, who's Mark? And he was like, she was like, the reason that the guy who got me the job of movie... He was like, Mark, I hate that guy. Clearly, you're fine with him. You're just...
Also, very Slytherin, Ross not getting the super special goodbye from her, like, triggered him so hard.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, we just have a baby together. Why would I get a goodbye?
He was such a dick to her for that.
I mean, she should have explained better. You don't take all the other 4 in and not him and then be like... bye, and not explain anything, but that speaks to her house, which we'll get into. I think they're perfectly matched.
Agreed.
Perfectly matched. Well, yeah, I think we have proven why Ross is Slytherin. I don't think we're going to get any pushback on that.
That's right.
Let's do, you guys want to do Joey?
You want to do Joey?
Joey Tribbiani.
Alrighty.
My Italian New York brother.
Joey was a hard one.
Really?
Joey's a hard one for me, too.
Okay.
The reason I'm going to say what I'm going to say is because of Tucker. I think that Joey and Tucker, my son, are very similar, and I actually am going to say Joey is a Gryffindor.
That's really fair. That's where I first put Joey, too.
That's good. Okay, so I'm not totally
yeah, I see
out
totally
in left
how you
field.
got there. Yeah. It's not where I'm landing at the end of it, like after fully rewatching and fully understanding him. But I see how you get there.
I
With
think
Gryffindor
that
for Joey.
Joey is kind of the Neville of Gryffindor. So Neville is, we don't see him be super smart in most areas except for herbology, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has to try really hard, much harder than other people. Takes him a little bit longer to get stuff, which is the same as Joey.
Sure.
So Joey always needs the extra few seconds to get the joke. Um, and Joey has a huge heart, like opens his house to his apartment to Rachel, even though Rachel
Yeah.
has a baby. Like he has a very big heart, and yeah, and also with like the whole Chandler and Monica thing, like he takes an awful lot of flack to try to keep their secret a secret, which I think is very selfless. So
he does. He lets himself get blamed for a lot.
Yeah. So those were my reasons for
Joey.
thinking Joey is Gryffindor.
That's fair. So I was with you, and then I started thinking a little bit like deeper into it, and I couldn't fully align him with Gryffindor because he wasn't doing things the way that maybe I would do it if I were put in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know when I start questioning that I'm dealing with the Hufflepuff.
Ah.
And it really bugged me because I felt like I had a good handle on Joey, and then I was like, no, I don't. Joey is very multifaceted. Like, he's a layered character. Weirdly, he's not all surface level.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying about, like, he's not good, like the Neville thing.
Yeah.
But if you notice, like, he maybe is not the best actor, but I think what pushed me to Hufflepuff for him was when I don't know if he always took it extremely seriously, but there were moments in the series where he really did. This is all he wanted out of life, was to be an actor.
Yep.
And nothing hurt him more than when his friends didn't believe in him.
No, I'm going to say, too, Rachel, I disagree that he didn't always take it seriously. Like, I
guess he did.
Well, yeah, the degree to how hard it is to start out a career as an actor and doing the way he was doing it. Like, he didn't go to LA and get an agent. He was in New York just, like, picking up jobs. Like, that takes a lot of, and obviously he was very fortunate that he had friends willing to, like, foot his rent and stuff like that. But he was doing it. And he got genuinely upset if, like, friends dropped the ball and didn't give him a message about an audition.
That's
or if
what pushed me to Hufflepuff for him, was because it's so tied to work, Tricia, and like Hufflepuffs are so tied to their role, which I think for him is an actor. I mean, he really wants to make it.
Yep.
And you need the support of the people around you if you're going to make it. And he has this huge circle of people, but when he finds out, like, Chandler makes fun of him, or when he finds out they don't like the play, he's so gutted and so deeply devastated by it. He's like, you really don't believe in me?
And when Chandler didn't watch the audition
Yeah,
tape?
when he fell asleep. Yeah. Yes.
And it's an ongoing thing with Joey.
Oh, no, not the audition. When Chandler fell asleep during his premiere.
During his premiere.
Yeah.
That too.
Or when he's going to Vegas to record, and Chandler was like, I don't think this is going to be your big break. He's like, what do you... It really drives a wedge between them. And it's one of the only things that ever could.
Yeah.
It's hard for him to get over because he does take it so seriously.
I thought he's very, very, very loyal too, though.
Yes.
Extremely.
He's very loyal to Chandler, especially, like, what was it, Kathy? Like, when...
With the whole Kathy thing?
That gutted him. And he was right. Like, if Chandler had said, like, I like your girl, like, Joey just would have stepped off and been like, here you go.
Yeah.
Rachel,
what? Joey makes that mistake later with Rachel and Ross, you know?
Rachel, you know what else really pushed me to Hufflepuff for Joey? Or this moment that I was like, oh my God. We talk a lot about, you can talk about your othering later, but we also talk a lot about with Hufflepuffs, like, they can be very petty. And they, like, as opposed to Gryffindors, which Rachel talks about this all the time, that she'll get mad at somebody and then she will, like, genuinely forgive it right away. And, like, she just moves forward or whatever. And, like, Hufflepuffs hang on to it. And so you don't see it necessarily with Joey, but he says, I can't remember, it's sometime in the later seasons when he's talking about how Chandler kissed his sister, and Chandler's like, you forgave me for that. And he's like, oh no, you still got another 5 years. Like,
right.
He's holding on to, he's got a list in his head, and he's like,
he holds on to it. Where like a Gryffindor would be like, oh, fine. And like, I don't think a Gryffindor would make Chandler get in that box. Like, because Joey, if anything, Joey has the fucking nerve, okay? He's got some audacity. He gets all their shit in their apartment stolen. Like, he makes every dumbass move you could make, and they all forgive him and give money to him and give support to him. But if they're like, I don't actually think you're gonna win a Golden Globe, he's like, what the fuck? What do you mean I'm not gonna win a gold? Like, he, you know what I'm saying? He, like, and all the money he's taken from Chandler, and he gets so mad at Chandler until Chandler, like, adds it all up, and then he's like, no, actually, we're good, actually.
Now that you're framing it like this, remember when he accepted the award?
Yes,
on behalf?
Yeah.
I guess that's not very good.
No, and also, and again, can't talk about Rachel, but Rachel's giving him back, and they go to give it back, and the woman they're going to give it back to is like, oh, one of these, like, this piece of trash, like, I don't even want it. And Joey looks at Rachel and is like, she doesn't deserve it. Rachel's like, yeah, okay, now you can have it. Like,
see you later.
He's so funny. He's
such
ridiculous.
a great character.
But even like he saves the sandwich over Ross's life. The cop car, where they think it's a shit.
You can't say he's not brave.
letting them give him, like, the cop was being like, you're such a good friend. He was like, yeah, I am a good friend.
You were saving a sandwich, dude.
Very brave.
Yeah, very brave. He's just, he very much is also the one who his whole life centers around his community and his group, which is these 6
Yes,
friends.
he gets very upset when things are changing.
If something starts to change, Joey's the only one who cannot deal with it.
Yeah, he literally, so when Chandler and Monica were like, we're going to move out to the suburbs, he's extremely upset. Everybody else is, but they get over it.
Lauren, this was the moment I told you, like, wait for it. This is the moment.
Yeah.
This is Hufflepuff.
No. Joey is so upset. And then when Rachel's going to Paris, he does that thing where he's about to throw himself off the balcony. I can't. Like,
this is making me reframe my son because Tucker is the same way. He cannot.
That's so funny.
He cannot deal with change. Like, he would be the small child, like, ready to leap out the window.
Yeah.
So, like, I am starting to reframe Tucker in my brain now too.
And only the little ghost girl could convince him that it would be okay. Well, then also, he needs to be so involved with their weddings. Like, he needs to be so important to the wedding that he's either officiating it or, like, taking on the role of Phoebe's father.
Yeah. Yep. And then he took it seriously.
Strike 3, Mike. Yo, one more.
He took it seriously. Like, Phoebe was like, I just want you to walk me down the aisle because I don't have a dad. He's like, I'm going to be your dad. Like, this is how I'm useful to you? Okay. Like, 1,000%. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, it's all very, like, how am I going to be useful to these people? Because, like, it's not financially. And you even see it in the beginning seasons where, like, Phoebe, Rachel, and Joey are like, we don't have the kind of money you guys have to just be doing these kinds of dinners and doing these kinds of things. Like, he's very aware of that, the imbalance there. So he's always there for him. It's just that it's there in the way that Joey knows how. Like, taking you to a strip club. Or, like, saying, let's have a bachelor party. You need a bachelor party. Like, he just does it through a lens of what would make him feel better.
Yeah, no, and I think it's like Joey's obviously like a ladies' man, right? And it's like in another character or another house, it could be like really like ugh. And Joey, I think, handles it well. Like, he's very open about it. He's very, like, not really gross about it. He's just kind of like, you know, like, this is what I do. And
I'm Joey.
I tell everybody
I'm
to do
disgusting.
It. Yeah. Exactly. No, but I was thinking of that, and I was also thinking of Joey doesn't share food. Like, he's got very specific rules, and he doesn't, like, as long as you are doing anything else, he's fine. But he's like, I understand where I am in my life and where I stand and how I think I want things to be around me, and they need to stay that way.
You know what?
Anything else that happens is fine.
I think this is such an important conversation for Joey because a lot of times he is written off as, like, the ditzy character. But
yeah, and I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, he has, like, a lot of positive characteristics.
He does.
Like, he's a great friend.
He is.
What about when his dad cheats on his mom? Like, he's so pissed at him.
And his mom's like, "Oh, I know about it." Like, I've just been letting him.
Or even like Chandler making out with the sister. He's like, "All right, so when are you gonna marry her?"
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Or when his sister gets pregnant. And he's like, yeah. He's very.
He needs to do what makes sense. Like, it's not even necessarily like he's trying to do the right thing. It's just what makes sense to push everybody forward. How can I be useful to you? Okay. I'm gonna make you get married. Okay, I'm gonna make you confess to Ma. Like whatever he needs to
Let's
do.
make this right in his mind.
Yes.
And you know what? I want to push back on you a little, Rachel, because yes, Joey is the dumb character, obviously, in Friends, but even when he's being dumb, he's not just being like Patrick dumb. Like
I know.
there's actually something that makes sense.
He's got more substance.
It's a
I know.
moot point. It's what like like it's logic to him. It's just bad logic,
Again, that's like how it makes
idiot.
He doesn't understand.
It doesn't matter.
He doesn't understand moot point, so he's like, "This is how it makes sense. It's a moot point. That makes more sense." He like creates his own like, "This is how it makes sense."
Or when he's learning French, he's like, "I'm saying exactly what you're saying to me, Phoebe." Like I don't know what to tell you. I'm repeating what you're saying.
As a Canadian, where there's a lot of French around me, that episode kills me every time.
It's so good. Phoebe's rage.
Oh.
You're not saying it. I can't. Oh, I have a question for you, Tricia. Did you want Phoebe and Joey to end up together?
Phoebe and Joey? No.
Like while you were watching, as you were watching?
No, I never saw it. Like I could see like they're the two eccentric characters, most eccentric characters, so I could see why people like would kind of like pair them together, but I didn't see it.
Well, again, like I was really young, and when I saw him dating Ursula, I was like, oh, why don't they put him with Phoebe?
Oh,
and then I wanted him with Phoebe.
No,
forever.
you just reminded me of another thing too, because somehow I don't know why they did this at the end. Like Joey, that actually might speak to Joey, but I thought this spoke very Hufflepuff of Joey, that Chandler was like, I can't tell the difference, and Joey's like, why? It's easy. Like, I know what the difference between the two of them is. And then at the end, they let it be like, but now I'm almost wondering if Joey let Phoebe do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he knows Phoebe kissed him at that when she was praying to be Ursula.
Okay, well then, yeah.
You must have looked down at your phone or something, because that was
okay.
Yeah, it's implied.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, he clearly knows the difference, and I think that's very helpful. Like, the people in your...
He cares enough to look at certain things.
Yeah.
Well,
such a big heart.
He's the most loyal friend.
Yeah.
The most loyal friend. Every single other one of them is more outwardly selfish than he is. And you can say Joey is selfish in certain ways, like with the money and with the taking food from Monica's fridge and whatever.
Yeah.
But he's going to come in with a baseball bat if he thinks somebody is doing anything to you.
Yep.
Like, and it's because they're his people. They are his everything. They're all leaving the city and whatever, and getting married, going off, and Joey feels like he's the one left behind because he is. He is the one that's getting left behind. And it's really sad, actually.
Oh, but you know
I know they did it to set up his show, but...
yeah, I know. But you know, when Chandler and Monica were like, we're going to have a Joey room. He's like, oh.
I'm so happy they put that in. Okay, and also, so this is one way that I see a Hufflepuff is through their othering of other people.
Yeah, I know you want
to
talk
So when
about
they
that.
really don't like someone, they're like scum of the earth. They are Hitler. Like he hates, like a Hufflepuff will hate, okay? He hates Janice.
Yeah.
Hates Janice. Nobody else hates Janice like Joey hates Janice.
And he goes out on that day when Chandler is like serious, like he's like in love with her. They go out on Janice Day, and he's like, like, and he comes in and Chandler's like, you still hate her, don't you? And he's like, God, yeah. Like,
but he tried so hard.
Hey, have fun.
Yes.
He hated her like probably some of us hated her.
Yeah.
But he can't let it go. And Chandler's like, can't you just pretend to like her? And he's like, no, I can't just pretend I hate her. She's the worst. She's the devil. And he's like, wow, ow. And Joey's like, sorry, but she's actually a demon. He can't stand her. He's the only one. Like, they'll all give her a chance. They're all annoyed by her, but they'll give her a chance. They don't hate her like Joey does. Very Hufflepuff of him. Yeah. You got anything else, Lauren?
For Joey, not really. I mean, I echo Tricia. I'm glad we had this conversation too, because like I said, I really like Joey, but I do feel like he probably gets written off as the one-dimensional. Like, I know Chandler's the one making jokes, but Joey was like the easy comic relief. You know, like just say something stupid and it's funny. But
yeah, that's probably what it is. Like, I don't think he's actually stupid because Joey solves a lot of problems and does a lot of things right. It's just the way they wrote him sometimes that bothered me. That I think gets him shoved for me. But I do love Joey. Let
Who
me put that on the
doesn't?
record. No, I don't hate Joey. I could never hate Joey. He's Italian like me. And you know what? We're so marginalized right now and attacked in the media by Chris Pratt that we need to stick together. All right. So moving on to Chandler Bing.
You said
Chandler.
that.
Chandler
Chandler.
Bing, my little Bingaling.
You know what I don't get, Rachel?
Chandler.
I was thinking about this so much. I was like, why do I love Fran Drescher and I just cannot do Janice?
You don't
You
like
might need to be
Janice?
from New York. Oh my God. All right, I can't. 'Cause
my God.
it'll follow me the whole day. I'll just be talking like her. So Chandler, Tricia, what are your thoughts on Chandler in his house?
I got nothing. I don't know.
Really?
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
Was he hard for you?
Why?
He was.
What's going on?
I don't. He has a lot. I don't know. I guess I would, if I had to say something. I guess I would have to say Hufflepuff because I can't pick anywhere else. But I don't know.
Very
like,
honest.
He's a complicated character. He has a lot of layers.
Oh yeah. He is and he isn't at exactly the same time.
True.
A bit of a paradox.
Like, he's a good friend and he's a good husband, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he has some childhood problems that he carried with him throughout his life. But like, I don't know, when I think of like the big characteristics, like, I don't think he's brave. Like, I think he's a sissy. Like, the sandwich incident, like, he was not saving anybody, right? The backfiring car.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're in a plane crash, they tell you to save yourself
And he's
first
afraid
and
of-
save
yeah.
everybody else.
He's afraid
You
of
don't know.
dogs. Afraid of dogs.
Afraid of
He has a lot of
dogs.
like ridiculous fears.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I have a counter to this though.
Okay, I want it.
Oh, let's hear it. I want to hear your counter.
Oh, you want to hear my counter?
I want to hear your
Am I
counter.
supposed to say what house we think he is?
Tell him where he
Yeah,
is.
sure.
All right. Rachel and I think Chandler's a Gryffindor.
Rachel knows Chandler.
Wow. Mind blown over
Gryffindor
here.
to Gryffindor
Here, yeah,
communication.
let's get
I
into
understand
this.
him
It's
so deeply.
Convince me.
Yeah, no, I think he's a pretty obvious one. I didn't think he was a hard Gryffindor. To push back on what you said, Tricia, about him not being brave. So yeah, he is a bit of a sissy about certain things. But hey, so is Neville Longbottom. I think the big thing for Chandler is that his biggest brave moment and the thing that he overcame his entire, like, what his identity was built around was that he did get in a serious relationship with Monica and marry her. Right? Like, he overcame that.
That is the bravest thing Chandler ever did.
Could ever do. Yeah, because I always say this about Gryffindors. They take that trauma and then they just build their entire identity around it. And it's all about the trauma. So, like, he's constantly going back to his dad and he's constantly going back to his mom. And he's constantly going back to the fact that he's had sex with 4 women.
He's on a carefully regimented program of denial, sarcasm, bedwetting, and smoking.
Yeah, it's just so Gryffindor. Like, he's built his entire identity around this. And the fact that he leaves that identity to be Monica's husband, I think is the bravest thing that he could have done. Like, even see him let go a little bit when Monica says that the maitre d' at her restaurant is the funniest person she's ever met, and everybody else is like, "How could you do that to Chandler? That's Chandler's thing. He's the funny one." Even Chandler knows that that's like ridiculous at that point. Like, he's like, "This is not all I am to you. Like, I know that I'm your husband."
So I think what people would push back on, Lauren, is that you would have to say he's like a Neville Gryffindor. You would have to, because he doesn't have the stereotypical, like, bravery, chivalry, courage, whatever, in the way that's really obvious on screen.
Right.
But you just have to look at his motivations as a character and see what he's needed to overcome and how brave he really is by the end of it. Now, that's not to say he's still not avoidant, because he is still avoidant to the fucking end. With Janice living next door, like, to the very end, he's like, my balls just went back up into my body. Like, he can't just be honest with people. He has a real serious problem with that. And look, he'll tell you more than I'll tell you that that's because of his parents. Because I was 9 and they got a divorce and they said, "More turkey, Mr. Chandler." And I can't let it go. And I hate Thanksgiving forever because of it. And like Chandler, like all Gryffindors are, and I will die on this hill, are the most forgiving house. We let so much shit go.
Yes, the fact that when he finds out why Monica cut off his toe, he was like,
Yes. So you can let things go, but you don't forget those things. So like even with his parents, he holds such a grudge. Like he cannot let the grudge go. And it's because it's all the emotional trauma that they put on him. So everything circles back to mom and dad fucked up, and I'm going to throw it in at least once every hangout, specifically how they fucked up. Even if you don't get what I'm referencing, it's fine. They fucked up, and that's why I have commitment issues, emotional issues, why I can't do anything and function anywhere except at work, which is also something you see with Gryffindor, is throwing themselves into their jobs. Like Tony Stark, kind of. You'll be up all night over it. You'll go to the office and be fucking miserable. Like you'll give up everything else good in your life.
I also think it's very
the only thing working out for you.
That job, yeah, and he stays there, because he's just making so much money, and he's like,
and why,
whatever.
Lauren?
Yeah,
because it's his responsibility.
Yeah. I mean,
and Joey is his responsibility, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Joey is his child. He is carried.
Who
for
else
Joey.
is going to people?
Who will feed
the other
Joey?
ones. The other ones are not going to do for Joey what Chandler did for Joey.
No
way.
No,
I don't think.
I'm thinking too, Rachel, about so this isn't this isn't in the way that it would be for Slytherin, where you're very self-absorbed or whatever. But I sometimes think that Gryffindors, when they're so wrapped up in their own trauma, have a hard time understanding when they expel that trauma how it affects others, or that others might have their own trauma.
Hugely true.
I'll bring in from the books. Harry and Ron. Harry doesn't really get Ron's whole thing with being poor. He's I don't really understand. He's just
I
not
grew up in a cupboard.
Yeah. He's just not. He's not really getting why it's such a part of Ron's identity, right? But and I think it was the same for Chandler. He didn't understand why calling Monica fat was such a thing. He was like, I was just being funny, Chandler. Yeah.
I thought he was I think he's a little bit mean to be Gryffindor.
He is.
Yeah. No, he is.
No, Gryffindors are mean.
It's like I said, when they're expelling their trauma, it's all about them expelling their trauma. It's hitting other people, and it's not really a concern.
I was thinking about the girl from camp.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one that came to me.
But here's
the thing: hurt people, right? That could be the Gryffindor tagline.
No. But here's the thing too: that Chandler knows he's doing it. He's why do I have such high standards for women? Because I'm not a catch.
I have a third nipple.
Yeah, he's I don't there's literally that episode where he's talking about it, he's gonna end up alone because he's the eyebrows were too bushy. He knows
her head's too big.
Yeah, he's
my God, that's a big
head.
He's so
at the
aware.
end of the episode, they actually do that in his head voice, where he's her lips are shaped weird, and he's am I really doing this again? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yep. All of that is why I put him in Gryffindor, because it's a paradox, right? Lauren likes to talk a lot about the paradox, where you can be so aware of what you're doing and how insane it is, but you cannot stop yourself from doing it. You just can't take the logical route and just stop and get some therapy and get through it and get over it. Absolutely not. I can't do that. I need to continue.
No, and Chandler has the very
being able to complain.
He has the very traditional paradox too of being genuinely thinking he's a pretty cool, great person, and then also being I'm dog shit.
100%. He's what? Why not me, Monica? Why wouldn't I be your perfect guy?
Yes.
I could be the perfect guy. He can't let it go. He can't let that go. He's tell me about me. What's wrong with me? I'm gonna make this whole trip about me, and then I'm gonna pee on your leg and show you that I am the perfect man. Ha ha. And also the guilt, right? With Gryffindors is a big thing with the guilt. He messes up Ross and Rachel's thing so many times in the early seasons, and he's the reason that Ross makes the pros and cons list. Because in his stupid ass mind, he's just put these two people that you have these feelings for on paper and just write down why good, why bad. And that would shatter anybody. And he blames himself for that, as, a little bit he should. But then, they get back together and he's I'm absolved.
Right.
It's fine. It worked out. Woo.
He also kind of he's the one who blabbed about Ross liking Rachel with the crystal
Yeah,
gem.
exactly.
Yes.
He messes them up so much in the beginning and then expects Joey to keep his secret with Monica when, like, you couldn't shut your mouth,
Yeah.
actually. They put so much on Joey with that.
They
That
did.
was killing Joey.
They did. No, it was me because it was ridiculous situations too. Like he's got a naked photo of Monica. He's got his underwear in the apartment. Like what? That's like
I'm
gross
Joey.
shit.
I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
But notice, though, I also always say this about Gryffindors. They'll be the first ones to, like, fold when they really know that they're beaten. He's the one who gives up when Phoebe and him are, like, doing that whole thing where she's like, aha, my bra, look at that. And he's like,
Yes.
no, I love Monica. Like, he gives up. He's like, forget it. I don't even want to do this anymore.
I don't know if this speaks more to it does speak a lot to Monica's house, but and his relationship with her. But I just remember this vividly because I was so excited when Paul Rudd got on the show again. I was like, yay, Paul Rudd episode. But they have that ping pong competition in Bermuda where Monica's like, you can't win this for me, you suck. And Chandler's amazing. And she's like, when did you get good? He's like, I've always been good. I'm just letting you like have
Always
your
the
thing.
air of surprise.
Yeah,
Very
he's
Ron
like,
Weasley.
He's like, I'm just letting you have your thing because it's not worth all this for me.
Right.
Like,
Yep. And look, like, Monica's not the easiest person to be with, but he's so good at navigating emotionally, like, problematic situations that he's like, yeah, she's crazy. This is good. I like that a lot. And even the smoking thing, like, this is something that I've dealt with. Anytime you're triggered by, like, your past, okay, that's an excuse to go into an unhealthy coping mechanism. So that's smoking for Chandler. It was smoking for me, too, for a long time. And when Ross and Rachel break up, he's like, this is just like mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
This is just like them. Like, he goes back to smoking. Sad, Chandler. Very sad. Viva Las Vegas. I love that.
And he's so okay with that, though.
He is. I think his only problem with any of it is that when he was young, they divorced. They didn't emotionally care about him. They put him through a lot as a kid. Like, I don't think
I was going to say, too, like, I'm going to give this to Chandler. I don't know if I can give it to the show, but, like, well, no, the running joke that he was gay was a bad joke, but Chandler kind of took it on the chin really well.
Yep.
He's like, all right, I can, I get why you think that. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
stuff like this, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I just want to mention
one episode where he was like, "Why? Why do you think that? Explain it to me." And as soon as like people start like explaining, he's like, "Oh, okay."
Well, I think the running joke in that episode is that there's no specific reason. Right. That it's just equality.
Like,
and he's just like, "What? Like, what does that mean?"
He's like, "How do I stop? Because I want
people
to have
are
sex
like
with a woman."
People are always so weird to him. Like when their friend that became British comes back and Phoebe and Monica are like, get her away. She's like, look, I had no special training. And Chandler's just sitting there watching like, yeah. I love this is happening to me. Why wouldn't this also happen to me?
She was on the show and I screamed when I saw her.
Funny. I also just wanted to throw into the ring, and Lauren will get this. He's scared of Michael Flatley, Lord of the Damned, because it appears that his legs are flail about independently from his body. And like Chandler has these weird things that he just doesn't like, and he has weird reasons for them. And I so relate. Like I can't even explain. I hate pilgrims, and it's nothing to do with anything historical.
It's not for a good reason that you should hate
It's not for a good reason. I'm gonna come out and tell you right now. I'm not getting any points for it. I hate them. Their little buckles on their shoes and hats just disturb me deeply. Deeply disturbing.
I am not okay.
I'm sorry. I can't take them. I fucking hate them. So when he said Michael Flatley's legs would flail independently from his body, I'm like, yeah. I get it. It's weird.
Oh, God. I'm crying tears.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you can't see me. I'm losing it. Lord, I was not ready for that.
That's like the one thing that I remember that is I have a weird hatred of. I have more, but I can't remember them now.
Don't get into them. I don't know if I can take it.
I'm sorry. I don't remember them anyway.
Sorry, I'm thinking more like the whole thing when they switch apartments.
Yes.
When they switch apartments, Chandler's the one that's like holding them to it. Joey's like, but I want the cool apartment when the girls do something to their apartment. And Chandler's like, or like when they do the double bet and Joey's like, what are they so upset about? They got the apartment back. And Chandler's like, Joey, no, we want this apartment. And I don't even know if he really actually wanted it. He just wanted to take it away from them, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah. Fully. He's
Yeah.
like, I deserve something good.
yeah.
Maybe one time in my life. Okay, I'll give it
So
back.
easily
Like, he
persuaded,
can't-
though.
He like. Also, who else could deal with Ross in college but a Gryffindor?
Mm.
It's true. I mean, and clear. That flashback episode was so funny, where Chandler was like breaking the packs. That speaks to Ross too. Ross was like, "You broke the
Oh, yeah.
packs," and Chandler's like, "They weren't that serious." Like,
Shut up, Ross hooking up with a 50-year-old librarian in high school. Shut up.
She looked young for her age.
She had kind eyes. May she rest in peace.
God, I think like one of the best Chandler moments is when like Ross and Monica are like telling on each other.
yes.
And like Chandler just has to keep like stepping back and being like, "Whoa."
Yeah. He's like, I know my family's messed up, but whoa, you guys.
Monica can't tell time, and Chandler's just like,
She can't tell time.
yeah.
You were my first kiss with
Okay.
Rachel. You were my first kiss ever.
Okay. I think that's very good. He loves drama. Like, he doesn't want to be in it, but he'll
Loves
sit there and
it.
watch it. He's like, "This is great." When his
Oh
friends
God,
are
I
with
like
each
that
other.
too. I don't want to be in it, but I want to know like everything about it so I can
But
watch
he's
the
not
sidelines.
in it, but he'll egg it on. He makes his little
Oh,
comments,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like,
Oh yeah. Everything has to be a joke, especially if he's uncomfortable. Everyone knows this about Chandler, and it's hugely Gryffindor to have to do that. Like, I can't
okay,
deal with all of that.
sorry. And this, so the fucking joke where Chandler's like, "That's my joke that I told you," and Ross is like, "No, it's my
Oh.
that was a Slytherin thing for Ross because he was like, I'm
Yep.
right, like I'm not misremembering this," and that's the only time Chandler would go to bat because it's a joke. That's
Yeah,
Chandler.
exactly.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, but the other time that Chandler goes to bat is for Monica, right?
Yeah.
Because like he actually goes to Richard's apartment. Like he
Yeah.
is like, I know I said he's not brave, but this is that is a moment for him where he is like, this guy is gonna kill me because
Mhm.
he is strong and I am weak, and I am going to fight anyway.
Yes, that
That's
is
true.
Because it's Monica.
That is true, and
That's
he
a good
does.
point.
And he does go and be like, "I'm proposing, so you need."
I
to
made
back off."
myself soft.
Yeah.
I love
I don't care about you or your
Chandler.
mustache. I'll do it. That's gotta be that's so hard. He loved Richard. Like, remember when he tried to
Mhm.
grow the mustache like
Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah,
Like,
I think he saw Richard
That's
as a
tough.
father figure. Yeah, he did. Obviously, they said so, and then Richard was
Yeah.
like, "Never mind, I'm not hanging out with you guys anymore."
yeah, you guys are weird. And of course, like, the Gryffindor and the Hufflepuff are like the two children of the show living together in their little apartment across the hall, like eating pizza off the floor on
Joey's
their
special.
watching fucking Baywatch all day. Like,
Getting food
they have
delivered.
a chicken and duck because of course they do. Like, they're so
I
weird.
wish I could talk about. Oh, I guess we can with Joey. The fucking replacing Rosita.
Yep.
We can't talk about Rachel, but it is exactly that trio. What is going on there?
Yeah.
That Chandler thinks he broke it and replaces it secretly, and then Rachel's like, "Oh, you don't need the good chair." She's like, "Wow, it's got speakers. It vibrates."
Can I-
And Joey's
I just say, I have, speaking as the only Gryffindor here, no problem with them eating anything off the floor, including that cheesecake that fell. Because I would have eaten it too, and that old bitch downstairs would not have gotten that cheesecake back if I liked it and I got
oh
a taste.
my god,
It's done.
I can't wait till the next episode because some of like the like Joey
I know.
Joey, Rachel, Chandler show it
I know.
so much. Phoebe, Monica, Ross show it so much.
It's so deeply obvious in there when they're all together. But that's why I like the Chandler and Joey dynamic. It's very emotion house based. Like, the rest of them sometimes are just around them doing these very adult things, doing very serious things. And yes, Chandler's keeping them afloat, but he's a child with Joey too.
Right.
Like, he's parenting him just as much as he's in the dirt with him eating the spaghetti from the floor. Like,
making the box for it.
yeah.
exactly.
When Chandler is trying to give Joey $2,000 and Joey's like, "I don't take loans," and Chandler makes up that fucking game,
Yes.
the card
Yep.
game. Yeah,
Cup.
that was extremely their dynamic. Like,
It was.
and Joey's like, "Ross beat me." He's like, how
Yeah.
the fuck did Ross beat you?
Fucking Ross. Or what about, would you guys, speaking as from Logic Houses, if you were in love with your friend's spouse, right? And then they found out and you like did something shitty to them and whatever, would you get in that fucking box for forgiveness?
No.
Would you actually put yourself in that fucking box
No.
and then have the girl come and be like, I really thought we had something special. And then not talk because your best friend said don't talk or we're done? Sad little finger. Like, it's hugely Gryffindor of him to make that commitment, especially when he's bad at commitments. And he's not willing to give Joey up. He's not willing to. It was really Gryffindor to me that he stuck that out. Because I can't see any of the other ones in the like they would not be able to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just remembered something about Ross. The fucking Thanksgiving where they're naming all the states, and Ross is not gonna eat dinner.
Yeah, Ross refuses to let it go.
Yeah, he can't. They both have the fucking troll trophy, and they're outside and it's snowing.
Yeah.
It's mine! I love the Gellers. They're a bunch of messy bitches. See, this is why Chandler, I get it. I would marry right into that family. I would want to be part of that mess completely. I love it. I get it. Poor Chauncey. Dad, his father-in-law, just can't get his name right. Yeah, I think they're well sorted, I will say. Like, I don't see them being in any of the other houses.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yay! Oh, good.
The logic won out.
Yeah.
It's a very Ravenclaw thing to say.
I have a feeling we'll agree on the girls really easily. I feel like they're...
I want to know, I know they're not on our list to sort, but, like, what do you think about Richard?
Ooh. Richard might be a Gryffindor, too.
Interesting.
I know, I just threw you for a loop. I could see your brains working.
I think Richard might be a Gryffindor, too.
I'm going to say he's not a logic house.
Mm-mm.
Though he does do the dating a younger woman thing, which is weird, like Ross does. But maybe that's just cis men.
Well, this one is not.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gryffindor. He gives up Monica pretty easy.
Yeah, and he also, like, and then he continues to,
Says, like, the
be
right
in love
thing.
with her, apparently, for the entire time.
He loved her. Oh, he just didn't want a baby. And he set her free to go have her baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And then he
so
comes back
sad.
and is like, I will have a baby after 5 years consideration.
Mhm.
She's like...
And Monica's like, why am I so attracted to Gryffindor men? I hate them. Yeah. Where are we putting Janice?
Oh, wait. Was Pete a Gryffindor? Yeah, he
Who?
was.
Pete? Who?
John...
Oh, Monica and Pete?
Yeah. John,
The rich
The
guy.
wrestler?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, he's a Tony Stark Gryffindor.
Yeah, Tony's... Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's Tony Stark's butler or whatever, so...
I know, funny. Yeah, happy.
What about, Paul Rudd? Why can't I remember his name?
Oh, he's a Logic House.
Yes, Mike.
Yes,
Mike
thank you.
Hannigan. Yeah.
Mike might be a Ravenclaw.
Yeah. We could talk more about him with Phoebe. Because
True.
Yeah, we should.
I'm so happy that relationship happened.
I was just thinking, like, the boys of the show. That's all I was thinking.
I think my yeah, he's fucking Ravenclaw. He goes to Bermuda and then he's like, I'm still dating a girl that I've been dating for 3 months. Let me go break up with her real quick.
Wait, the nerd fight with him and what's the guy's name? Is it Hank or is that the guy's actor's name?
David.
David.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, sir,
David.
I am here to love and marry her. Well, I am also here to love and marry her.
Oh, I love David too.
And Phoebe's like, yeah, fight over me. Oh, I love her.
Yeah,
I can't wait to talk about them. That could easily be like a way longer episode than this because they are so fun. I love them.
All of this has been very fun. I'm very much enjoying myself.
Yay!
Except
I'm so glad that I cyberstalked you and
Yeah.
got you here.
I am going to be a little. I'm going to not like you very much though, because it's going to end up that I've had so much fun doing this that I'm going to actually be like, yes, I will do other podcasts, and I'll never be able to do anything else.
fun.
You're
You're
welcome, Mixtape Book Club.
They're fun. And like, this is not the last episode you're going to be on with us. You'll come back for the girlies.
Yes.
But always feel free to come back for any show you really love that we're doing.
You want to do? We
Man,
would
I don't
really
know.
like to do it with you. Yeah. We just told Haley and Illy this because they've been on the 911 kick because there's so many characters for 911. There's 2 shows. And I was, Haley's done Outlander with us, but we looked at Illy and we were like, Illy, you know you can do another show with us, right? It doesn't have
it's
to be
fine.
911. Like, we can
You
do
guys
it with
do
just
Schitt's
you.
Creek?
We did do
We did
Schitt's
Schitt's
Creek.
Creek.
Yeah. We did
I'm
it with
going to have
Megan
to listen
Carla.
to that one.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was very fun. And we managed to do all 4 of them in one episode. So
I still say my favorite episodes are our Dean and Cass one and our Twilight one.
okay.
And now maybe this one because I really enjoyed this.
Talking about Friends is so fun.
It is so fun. I never want to stop. I just got Friends trivia for Christmas and like I've been through all the questions and I'm like, you want to play again? You want to play again? Let's play again.
Okay, well, we should play sometime. And
Yes.
my friend Michelle is also a huge Friends fan, and so yeah, we should do some Friends
I'm
trivia.
super down. I'll bring it to Jersey. It's a little box. I'll bring it with me.
Or we can do that while we're waiting in the hallway, right, Lauren?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I'm down.
I love it. All right. I cannot tell you how much fun I just had.
Same.
I don't want to go off and do
Oh, wow,
adult
so
things
happy
and
I've
not
done
talk
this
about
for you.
Friends.
Well, you can keep talking about Friends. You can put it in the DM if you have more to say.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
talk about the girls, which I do feel like is going to be a longer episode. Considering,
Do you feel, Lauren, that we made our case though for the three boys?
yeah,
I feel like we got
I
it.
think anyway.
Because
Yeah.
let this be our final opportunity to get into things we've forgotten. Because every episode, me and Lauren are like, "Shit, I just remembered something else I wanted to say."
no, I
I'm
think
trying to think. Yeah, I think I got all my points out.
Yeah, I know I had like a few thoughts prepared in advance, and we got to them, so that's good.
oh,
Good.
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you back in 2 weeks for continued Friends February. Will that be after Valentine's Day?
Yeah, this one comes out. Here, I'll check for you.
Mm.
Well, if this is before Valentine's
It is.
I hope you have a very good Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
If you celebrate that ridiculous holiday.
It comes out the day before Valentine's Day.
Wow. Happy
Ooh.
Valentine's Day.
Or day after, sorry.
Find your lobster.
Oh, wait, no, that's the girls' one. Oh, that's good. Okay, this one comes out February 1st and the girls comes out February 15th.
All
Sweet.
right, I'll say it again then.
Awesome.
Saying it.
Lobsters. I'm doing the claws too. I know you can't see me, but we were doing it together. I'll try to get my
Oh,
camera
man.
fixed for the next time.
Yes, please.
Yes, definitely. We want to see you. I'm so worried that we talked over you. I'm sorry if we
Oh,
did.
no, you didn't. You don't need to worry about me at all. Like, if I have something to say, I'm going to say it. If I have to scream it at the top of my lungs, it's
Good.
coming out.
This is what I tell my students in class because we all have masks on. I'm like, yell at me like you yell at your siblings. It's fine. Scream at me.
You never have to worry about me not getting a word in.
Perfect. Love that.
Yay.
Well, we can't wait to talk to you again. And thank you, everybody, for listening. This was really fun.
Yeah,
It was fun. I look forward to next time. Thanks for having me.
Me too. Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
for being here.
Yeah.
Don't copy me, Lauren.
Okay,
God.
shut up. Let's just start this again. We almost made it through the whole episode.
Yeah, there was no fighting. We all did very well.
Yay! Hopefully, no one hates me for loving Ross, but you can. It's fine.
I didn't hold it against you.
Just gonna love him harder now. All right, catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!